The desert was quiet that morning. Too quiet for men carrying rifles. Sunlight slid over the canyon like a blade. Dust hung in the air, tasting of iron and old bones. Ethan Cole lay prone on the ridge. Legend, they called him. A name that weighed more than his rifle. His finger rested easy on the trigger. Breathing slow. Heart steady. Below him, the Rangers moved through the ravine. Boots crunching gravel. Whispers clipped and nervous. Ethan smiled without joy. I've got you, he thought. Nobody dies today. The radio cracked. Too loud. Too sudden. Sniper, check your 6. The world exploded. The ridge vanished under his chest. Stone gave way. The ground betrayed him. He fell. Wind screamed in his ears. Rocks tore at his skin. Pain bloomed white and hot. He hit hard. Harder than any training. Then darkness swallowed him whole. Cold came first. Then the smell of blood and wet stone. Ethan opened one eye. The canyon walls loomed like prison bars. His legs screamed when he tried to move. Bone grinding wrong. He laughed once. A broken sound. So this is it. Above him, gunfire echoed. Distant. Unreachable. Men yelling his name. Then silence. Guilt crushed his chest harder than the fall. I failed them. Hours passed. Or days. Time bled together. He drank from a muddy trickle. Ate nothing. Waited for death. But death didn't come. Instead, night brought voices. Not his men. Boots on stone. Foreign accents. Clothes. Ethan dragged himself deeper into shadow. Every movement agony. Every breath a gamble. A patrol passed above. Laughing. Careless. Anger burned brighter than pain. When dawn came, he crawled. Inch by inch. Driven by spite and duty. He set his leg with a scream that shredded his throat. Bit down on leather. Black spots danced. Days later, he climbed out. A ghost in torn camouflage. Eyes hollow. The Rangers' camp appeared at dusk. Half the tents burned. Blood darkened the sand. Ethan's hand shook. Not from fear. From rage. He raised his R. He raised his rifle. The familiar weight calmed him. Through the scope, he saw them. Enemies circling his brothers. A Ranger screamed. Another fell. Ethan exhaled. Tears blurred the glass. I'm back, he thought. His finger tightened. The first shot lined up. And behind him, a rifle clicked. The sound froze his spine. Metal on metal. Close. Too close. Ethan didn't turn. Turning was death. Sand shifted behind him. A breath he didn't recognize. Thought you were dead, a voice said. American. Rough with disbelief. Ethan swallowed. His throat burned. Get out of my line, he whispered. A beat of silence. Then a curse. The rifle behind him lowered. Jesus, the voice said. Cole? Below, another Ranger screamed. Cut short. Ethan's jaw clenched. No time. He fired. The shot cracked the air. A body dropped near the fire. Chaos erupted. Shouts. Gunfire. The man behind Ethan stared. Eyes wide. Hands shaking. They left us, the man said. They said you were gone. Ethan chambered another round. Smooth. Automatic. I was, he said. He fired again. Another enemy fell. The smell of burned powder filled his nose. Familiar. Comforting. Pain roared back with every breath. His leg trembled. Below, Rangers broke cover. Hope flashing across filthy faces. Someone shouted his name. Like a prayer. Ethan kept shooting. Counted breaths. Counted lives. Then the radio on his chest crackled. Sniper on the ridge. a calm voice said. Too calm. Ethan's pulse spiked. That voice didn't belong here. Light him up! Mortar tubes thumped in the distance. The man beside Ethan paled. They're zeroing us, he said. Ethan looked through the scope one last time. Saw his men running. Bleeding. Alive. He smiled. Small. Fierce. Get them out, Ethan said. The first shell screamed through the sky. The ground began to shake. The earth bucked beneath him. Dust blasted into his mouth. Bitter. Choking. The first impact tore the ridge apart. Stone flew like shrapnel. Ethan rolled, pain ripping through his leg. White fire. Teeth grinding. Move! The ranger shouted, panic cracking his voice. Ethan crawled. Dragged. Bled. Another shell hit. Closer. The air turned hot. Metal screamed past his ear. Below, the ranger sprinted for cover. One fell. Another hauled him up. Ethan caught it all through the scope. His chest tightened. Not fast enough. He fired again. The recoil slammed into his shoulder. An enemy gunner dropped mid-step. A third mortar launched. He felt it before he heard it. The ridge began to collapse. Cole, we gotta go, the ranger yelled. Ethan shook his head. Eyes locked on the valley. If I move, he said, they die. Blood soaked his pant leg. Warm. Slippery. The ranger stared at him. Then nodded. Hell of a way to come back, he said. Ethan didn't answer. The radio crackled again. Louder now. Closer. Confirm sniper position. Ethan adjusted the scope. Breath slow. Hands steady despite the pain. He saw the spotter this time. Hidden. Smiling. Ethan squeezed the trigger. The spotter vanished. The smile stayed. Another shell screamed in. Direct. The ground split open at Ethan's side. The ridge gave a final groan. The ranger reached for him. Ethan grabbed his vest. Pulled him close. Tell them, Ethan said. Voice calm. Certain. Tell them I never left. The world erupted in fire and sound. And then, silence rushed up to meet him. The silence didn't last. Ethan coughed. Dust filled his lungs. Heat pressed on his face. Then cold stone under his fingers. He was still breathing. Barely. His ears rang like church bells after a funeral. Hi. Endless. Cole. The voice cut through the haze. Closer than before. A hand shook his shoulder. Urgent. Rough. Cole, stay with me. Ethan opened his eyes. The sky spun. Orange with smoke. He tasted ash and blood. Below the ridge, engines roared. Friendly. Too late. He tried to speak. Only air came out. The ranger leaned in. Face streaked with grime and tears. You saved them, the man said. They're moving out. Ethan blinked. Relief hit him harder than the fall. Good. Then the ground trembled again. Different this time. Heavier. The ranger stiffened. Listening. Ethan felt it through the rock. Tracks. Multiple. Armor. The radio on the ranger's chest burst alive. Enemy counterforce inbound. The ranger looked down at Ethan. Fear raw and naked. We can't carry you, he said. Voice breaking. Ethan grabbed his sleeve. Grip weak but stubborn. Then don't, he rasped. Gunfire cracked closer now. Automatic. Advancing. The ranger hesitated. Torn in two. Ethan met his eyes. Hard. Unforgiving. Go, he said. The ranger stood. Backed away. Then ran. Ethan lay alone. He pulled his pistol free. Checked the mag by feel. 3 rounds. The rumble grew louder. Shadows stretched across the rocks. Boots appeared at the edge of the smoke. Ethan smiled. Slow. Tired. His finger tightened. The first shot echoed sharp and clean. A boot vanished. A body fell hard. Shouts erupted. Angry. Close. Ethan rolled onto his side. Pain nearly blacked him out. The second shot fired blind. A scream answered it. Dust churned as figures scattered. Weapons raised. Searching. Ethan pressed his cheek to the stone. Cold steadied him. 2 rounds left. His breath came shallow. Every inhale burned. A voice barked orders in the smoke. Confident. In control. Ethan recognized the tone. A commander. He smiled again. This one would matter. Footsteps approached. Slow. Careful. A shadow stretched across his hand. Ethan lifted the pistol. Arm shaking. Will unbroken. The shadow stopped. For a heartbeat, the canyon held its breath. The shadow shifted. A rifle muzzle dipped into view. Black. Steady. Drop it, the voice said. Calm. Almost respectful. Ethan laughed softly. Blood bubbled at his lips. You're late, he said. The man stepped closer. Boots crunching stone. Eyes sharp beneath his helmet. You cost us a lot today, the man said. Ethan's fingers stayed tight. 1 round left. He smelled fuel on the man's gear. Oil. Sweat. Confidence. You cost yourself more, Ethan said. The man paused. Studied him. Legendary, he murmured. Gunfire cracked in the distance. Fading. Retreating. The commander glanced back. Just for a second. That second was everything. Ethan raised the pistol. Vision narrowing. World tunneling. The commander's eyes widened. Ethan exhaled. And pulled the trigger. The click was louder than any gunshot. Empty. The commander didn't flinch. Didn't rush. A thin smile crossed his face. Out, he said quietly. Ethan's arm fell. Strength gone. Boots closed in. Surrounding. Rifles aimed down at his chest. Ethan stared up at the sky. Smoke drifting. Blue fighting through gray. So this is how it ends, he thought. The commander crouched beside him. Close enough for Ethan to smell his breath. You should have stayed dead, the man said. Ethan's fingers twitched. Brushed something cold in the dust. Metal. Familiar shape. The commander followed his gaze. Too late. A distant thunder rolled across the canyon. Heavy. Approaching fast. The ground began to vibrate. The commander looked up. Listening. Ethan smiled. Real this time. Helicopter blades cut through the smoke. The rotors thundered overhead. Close enough to shake the dust loose from the rocks. The commander stood fast. Calculating. Too late. Ropes dropped through the smoke. Voices shouted in English. Clear. Commanding. Contact front. Gunfire erupted again. Short. Violent. Ethan felt hands grab his vest. Strong. Familiar. Easy, legend, someone said. A voice he knew. A voice he trusted. He was lifted. The ground pulling away. The commander faded into smoke and chaos. Unfinished business. As the helicopter climbed, the canyon shrank beneath him. Just stone and scars now. Ethan's vision dimmed. The noise softened. He smelled antiseptic. Heard a heartbeat monitor start its steady rhythm. Alive. He closed his eyes. Not in relief. In resolve. Because legends don't end in canyons. They wait.